long. I don't know how long. That's why you got to get yourself together right now. Don't know how long it's gonna be, James. You know, don't know. I'm 63. I know I look 40 something, but I don't know how long. That's a long time. I don't hear no comment from the gallery. But I don't know. We're gonna have a fellowship meal after this. I don't know. We don't know. He could come back right now. Don't know. So you gotta get ready. And we're gonna talk about something that we don't go through here, because you're gonna hear some things that what church members shouldn't be doing, but I'm not preaching them because we got a problem with that with the church here at the Gainesville Church of Christ. We don't have a problem. See, I'm going to say it because I don't want us to have that kind of problem. See, I don't. So if I teach it, then we can know what not to do. So we're going to talk about it today. But what we're going to talk about basically is how to have an honest living, an honest or a healthy living today. And there are ways to do that. And we're going to talk about it. But in talking about them, there are going to be some things you don't supposed to be doing in order to have an honest, healthy living. So it's not going to be uncommon to you. I'm going to start in 1 Thessalonians there out of chapter 4, verses 9 through 12. And Brother D going to like what I'm about to say right now. You know, I was doing the Sunday school. And I was making up words that wasn't even there. And so I'm hoping there's not a problem going on with me because I just did something else that I had no clue what I was doing. And I know Brother D gonna like this. See, I just paid the church hundreds of dollars more than what I should have paid them. Yes. and I did, and I got a little disturbed because I pulled a number out of the sky. You know, I had the amount that I'm supposed to pay them, plus my 10%, and plus more that I was getting, but it was it was way up under what I paid them today. And you know, and I just looked at the check. I even had to take a picture because I'm going to show my wife. I said, I don't know where this number came from, but I wrote it. It was meant to be, and guess what? And I'm letting them have it. I'm letting them have it because they ain't getting paid next week. No, no. I'm letting them have it because I don't know who told me to write that number. It was hundreds more. I ain't going to bounce, though. It ain't going to bounce. It's good. But the church can have it, you know. And what the Lord has done for me, that's the least I can do for the church and stuff like that. But they can have it. But we're going to talk about a healthy living here. We're going to go to 1 Thessalonians and see what thus says the Lord so we can understand a little bit about what we are talking about. He says, now about your love for one another. We do not need to write to you, for you yourselves have been taught by God to do what? To love each other. See, that's what I like about it. I don't want you to teach me how to love because some people got some strange ways to love. Some people, James, think that if you beat your wife up, you love them. And she think that too. Well, see, he wouldn't do it if he didn't love me. Boy, that's some bad love. But it says that God, he said, taught you. You were taught by God how to love one another. And before I go on any further, I want to thank Brother Stevens for that great prayer. I mean, he bounced around all subjects. And I was just sitting there and I said, go on, future preacher, go on. But I just wanted to say that, give God away as doing it for all the brothers who did their part in the worship service thus far. He said, God taught you how to love each other. And in fact, you do love all of God's family throughout Macedonia. Yet, because see, there's no limit to love. You can't say, well, I love the Church of Christ, and that's all they're getting. I've been loving you. That's it. No, he says, there's no limit. He says, yet we urge you, brothers and sisters, to do so more and more, and to make it your ambition to lead a quiet life. See, that's what we're going to be talking about a little bit. Talking about honest living. honest life, honest living. And one of the ways to do that is to lead a quiet life. See, everybody in the neighborhood can't know about you. You know, some of us, we known in the neighborhood for our tomfoolery. Lead a quiet life. You should, oh, here we go. I told you we ain't gonna talk, this don't involve the church here, because we don't do none of this stuff here. You know, it's not for us. We're gonna say, I don't want you to get in this kind of trouble. But it says that, you know what, you should mind your own business. See, I'm preaching this because we got a problem with this. I don't want it to be a problem. They say you should mind your own business and work with your hands, just as we told you, so that your daily life may win the respect of who? Outsiders. See, nobody outside should know how corrupt we are inside. Go to that church? Oh, that minister, man, I'm going to tell you what, that joker be on Saturday night. And he's standing up there preaching. We should not have that known about us. He says, and so that you will not be dependent on hey, Brother Milton, who said they did not sin. Guess what God say? You're a liar. And the truth ain't in you. Now, we don't do it every day, but you might catch me on a bad day. Study to be quiet. What does this mean? In this context, it means to have the ambition or desire for superiority in that measure, to be quiet. See, he says you have to study to be quiet. You have to seek peace. Not just something that just fall on you. If you seek peace, you'll be doing the right things in your pursuit of it. You got to seek it. Some of us just wanted to fall in our lap. No, you got to seek it. Quiet. Some I have met. But I know when they come home, I know who the children are, how many they got. Because I'm 63, I'm getting nosy. You know that's what old folks do. Mm-hmm. I'm about to sit down. I'm just glad to see. I heard the car pull up out there, and you know they peeking. You can see them. They don't think you see them, but they peeking. Oh, they got the window open, and here she come, pulling up and down. Oh, his wife ain't even home, and here she come. We gonna see. Oh, yeah, they gonna see. They know everything. Yeah, say, hey, how you doing over there? Yeah, I saw y'all brought a new washing machine. They know it all. And they're known for carrying on mess in the neighborhood. But guess what he said? You should try to lead a quiet life. Don't attract the wrong kind of attention. If you want some attention, let your house be known as that's the people up there that go to church. Yeah. Yeah, that church there, that house there, you don't smoke in that house. You don't drink in that house. That's a peaceful house. If you're going to rob anybody's house, rob their house, because on Sunday morning they ain't there. Be known for something good. The idea is then, why we ought to desire and strive such a life? See, it didn't say why we ought to live. We ought to desire and strive for that kind of life. You got to work at it. The world is not peaceful. There are people that live next to you that don't want you to be peaceful. Why? Because they see what you got. They're jealous of you. And they may do things to your house just to have some unrest. You have to strive for it, because people ain't going to always be nice to you. And you want to go back to that old man. You pull off this coat here. I don't want nothing to happen to this coat. Because you're getting ready to ball. Square up with somebody. You got to tell yourself, no, it ain't worth it. So you have to strive for peace. You have to. This is a wicked world. Lord is coming back to destroy it. But you have to be different on all occasions and strive for such a life of peace. It is better than strife, Proverbs 17:1 says. It is better a dry crust with peace and quiet than a house full of feasting with strife. You know, when you get a piece of bread and they say, well, you got something to eat, and they give you an old dry piece of toast, and you, from your first mind, go say, well, you got no butter, just jelly or something, you know? He says it's better to eat a dry piece of bread Then to go down in that house over there where they pulling out guns and razors and but they got plenty of food to eat. He says, better to eat a dry crust of bread, Brother Anthony, and be at peace. Eat that little, crunch it, eat that little bread, and be through with it. You're at peace. He says, that's how much, Brother Copeland, you must strive for peace. If it tastes like a dry crust of bread, then it's better than a house full of strife. It is better than burning the candle at both ends. It says, better one handful with tranquility than 2 handfuls with toil and chasing after the wind. Why? Because you get nothing for it. You can't catch the wind. He says it's just nothing. You got much, but you got nothing but toil and strife. Somebody said, he was hard on us, but he was always a child of peace. I ain't caused nothing up in here. I taught you right. Some of the teachers were hard, but I was a peaceful man. Call me that. And that's what I strive to be. So how do we obtain this quietness in our life? You got to pray for it. I love the thing about prayer. Praise without ceasing. He said, because there's so many facets of your life, you can use prayer in everything that you do. You're lacking on finances? What? Pray. Yeah, your spouse, he ain't acting right? Pray. Put the frying pan down, pray. That's what you do. You ain't getting that promotion on your job? First of all, do what they ask you to do and pray. You taking too long to marry you? He says we can pray for kings and for all that are in authority, that we may lead a quiet and peaceful life, all in godliness and what else? In honesty. You see, a liar can't live a life of peace. He's always looking over his shoulders for the one that would figure him out. And there's no peace. There's no peace. We can be a righteous people, Isaiah 32 and verse 17. The fruit of that righteousness will be peace. Its effect will be quietness and confidence forever. My daddy was a quiet man. He was a quiet man. He didn't get into all that kind of stuff. He's quiet. My wife can tell you, he was a quiet man. He'd rather talk to you in person than on the phone. He ain't like them phones. You know when to get off. You can feel it shift in his voice. Okay, Dad, I love you. See you later. Okay, good. He gone. But you can visit. He's quiet. He don't raise no ruckus and nothing like that. He lived a quiet life. He built his own home for us when we were kids. And he was quiet. I did many hills. Quiet. And he died that way. That's why he lived to be 93. Because he led a quiet life. No, my mama didn't have to go down there and say, well, y'all put on your clothes. You got to go get your daddy out of 39, 33. Man, now we're going to get that right one day. Man, I need to put it up here. 33. You ain't got to go to the city jail and get him. You ain't got to go down there at Fletcher's and get him again. My dad was home at night. You see, he was quiet, lead a quiet life. When my daddy died, I don't know when I called the funeral home and the Haven Hospice gave my daddy over to Chestnut, Chris Chestnut, and I talked, he says, oh yeah, we got your dad's body. Your dad's a legend. I said, he is? You was that quiet. I'm like, you got some money or something? You say your dad's a legend around here. You know, because he had led that kind of life. He didn't say your dad was something else around here. You know, I don't know. You know, he didn't say that. See, my dad's nickname, and I don't know why. I still don't even want to know why his name was Peaches. I hope in all my heart, sister, that it's because he loved peaches. But they never said why his name was Peaches any other way that was wrong. So he led a quiet life. He gone now. I never had to ask him, what they call you Peaches, girl? I mean, man, I didn't know. We can strive for peace with all. Everybody you need to be at peace with, even your enemies. See, that's how you turn them, by being at peace, because they can't understand. You know, every day I hate you. But every day you come in here and love me, you know I hate you. But you treat me so nice. And then they start to inquire, well, why is that? And then before you know it, y'all eating lunch together. And it being your friend. Yeah, it's no wonder. God knows what he's doing. Let us therefore follow after the things. See, it doesn't drop in your lap. Follow after things, the things which make for peace. And you're not ignorant. You know what things to make for peace. Now, let's not be void of knowledge. We know. You don't go stand toe-to-toe with folk, fussing at them, y'all getting ready to fight. Somebody has to have that in this matter. You see, and just back away. You live another day too. Yeah, because this world here, people ain't fooling with you no more. See, me, James, and Brother Stevens, we all graduated in 79 from high school. That was the time when you, on a basketball court, you just talk trash to one another. You get face to face and you rolling around, you looking, but ain't nobody swinging. And at the end of the game, you sharing a Gatorade bottle with everybody, all drinking out the same thing. Because they ain't got that stuff we got out here now. You could do that. They do that now, your lip to rot off, but back then, yeah, because we had peace. We tried to live with one another with peace. And things wherewith one may edify one. Say, baby, come on, we got to go to church. I say, baby, come on, we must go to church. I got to. You ain't got to do nothing. But we all had the same, and that's edifying me to know that there are others out there just like me. I'm not alone in this. See, some of us got to learn to do your own business. You know, we read that passage there and talks about do your own business. Oh, I didn't tell you? Then it must be none of your business. Even a frog know that. None of your business. See, that's what we got to do. See, he know you're going to get on that phone and you're going to talk. But tell folks, I ain't none of my business. You see? And then some people, Sister Thomas might say, well, you know what? It might not be none of your business, but if you don't want me to mind your own business, then no private put it out there in the public. See, the other thing is, we may not talk about everybody else's business, but we love to talk about our business, put it all out in the street, and ain't nobody ask you. You know the business I read about some of y'all on Facebook. You put all your business out there. I don't recall asking you about how many eggs you ate this morning. Who cares? Everything out there I read about you. Some things I shouldn't be reading about you. And I take a picture of it and say, oh, Christians shouldn't be saying this stuff. You don't know some of the stuff I hear about some of y'all's. Yeah, shouldn't be saying it. Don't put your business out there. You wonder why people talk about you. He says, if you don't want me to mind your business, don't have it put out there in the public. But anyway, I'm fussing and fighting. Yeah. We know too much about other people's business and less about God's business. You want to mind somebody's business? Mind his. Yeah. See, that's not the making of minding someone else's business. That's not the making for a quiet, honest Christian life. Because you know we can't hold gossip. And you know what? I used to think that women gossip a lot. I think the men kind of gossip more. Because y'all brothers can tell it. Yeah, that's right. Run. But let me move on. But like I said, that's not this church. That's not why I'm preaching it, because we talk too much. You know who you are if you do. But anyway, we're not talking about that. I don't want anybody to talk like that. So what does this mean? Okay? In the vernacular, in the everyday language, it means to mind your own business. Don't you know that you got a lot of business that you got to take care of? I thought when I stopped working, so I'm not really retired because I work for the church. Because I hate people say, "Well, you retired." Like when I work for the church, it's not a job. They ain't paying me just to be here. They paying me because I am the preacher here. And I'm working here, and they paying me because the Bible says, "Don't muzzle the ox that tread the corn." You see. And they paying me for my service, but that's only a part-time service. Why? Because they can't really pay me for the work that I do for the Lord. But that's a great gesture. So I do work because I try to mind my own business. It's a lot of business. But I was going to say, because those who are retired, you think you can just lay around and just don't do nothing? You know, you're finding things that you have to do. Yeah. Now I only work 3 hours a week. That's all I work is 3 hours a week and all the incidental stuff that I got to do. But there's so much to do. So much to do. I try to have Mondays and Thursdays off. But I told my wife my Mondays are just as busy than the other days of the week. See, the other days I'm working for the church. You think just because you don't see me for Thursdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, you don't think I'm working for the church? Those are the days, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday, I try to give to the church, and Sunday. Yeah, then I try to take Monday and Thursday just to rest and not have nothing to do. It don't work that way. Yeah, but guess what it does? It keeps me from minding everybody else's business. We have a society today that loves to mind the business of other folks. What you think the newspapers are all about? Somebody else's business. You know, and that's why y'all been looking at them soap operas and the Edge of Night and all that. You want to see all those people's business. You know, all of us was back in the day when we was young enough, we wanted to know who shot JR. But you had to wait for next season. Yo, who cares about who shot JR? JR should have been minding his own business. Look at that. We picked those up. We want to know, Hillary Clinton adopted an alien baby. You want to know, you first thing you do is you pick up that newspaper. You want to know about somebody else's business. You know, woman ain't got no alien baby. Stevie Wonder can see again. I know he can see. Because if you look at him, and you can look through his glasses sometimes, he look like he's looking right at you. My wife said that man can see. Well, if he can see, then let him drive you to the store. But we want to look inside and see what all the stuff is. And you know, the National Enquirer, one of those yellow journalistic papers, we want to see what's going on in there. Let me see what's going on with this girl here. You know, you don't know nothing about them people, but we want to know. Inquiring minds, they say, want to know. The Mirror, that's the picture, that's the one over there in England. You know, the best buddies, the Queen and the Barack. No, they ain't no best buddies. Now, he went up and touched it and said he wasn't supposed to do that because he thought they was best buddies of God. And they said, back up. People want to know about other people's lives. And your life is not even complete and ready, in shambles, but you want to know what the Queen and Barack Obama, if they're best buddies. Who cares if they're best buddies? Johnny Depp. You want to know what Johnny Depp and People magazine, all those stars in there, you want to know about their life. See, Johnny Depp, you don't know no Johnny Depp. You don't know what's going on. All of them must probably have lies to get the paper to sell, and you going around there talking about what Johnny Depp did. I want to know what Jesus Depp did. Not no Johnny Depp. He found himself in court. Well, we all going to find ourselves in the court one day when Jesus come back. I ain't worried about him. I'm worried about me minding my own business. But we love that. Y'all probably going to go there today, and now you're going to walk by the stairs, you're going to look and see what's on the front of those papers. Because, see, that's where they got them right before you check out, so you can reach out there and buy you one. To see what's going on, to see what Brother Woods was talking about. No, don't see what Brother Woods was talking about. Buy because you was buying one anyway. Yeah, them Bibles. Get one of those. That's what they need to put up there by the check stands. Bibles and other church resource material. So you can go buy it and go home and read it. And then you can see what Daniel was talking about, Joseph was talking about, Abraham was talking about. You can see those. The Christian must tend to what? His own affairs. His own. I did not just start out saying that we don't know when time is gonna end. You don't know. So it takes time to tend to your own affairs, because when Hezekiah was dying, and then the man came and told him, he said, put your affairs into order, put your house in order, for you are sick unto death, and you will not recover. So the Lord was telling him, like he's telling all of us, you don't know what time it is. He did, but he says, get your house in order. Worrying about other folk and not yourself. See, when you die and you have not worried about yourself, ain't gonna be nobody to blame but yourself. Lord, listen, the only names that's gonna come off of your lips at the judgment is your name. I wish somebody would. I have a problem with you in line. I wish somebody would tomorrow. But see, Brother Woods never talk. I wish you would. Because the Lord said, no, leave Brother Woods alone. He coming up here, but he got a lot to say about himself. You don't bother nobody else, because he says, your life, you lived it. It's about you and me right now, he says. Let's talk about you. Don't mind nobody else's business but yours on this day. Because the Lord says, I'm minding your business today because you didn't mind mine. Oh, it's going to be a tough time. All the gossipers, he said, they're going to find themselves, he says, in the lake of fire. The people who gossip. If you want to be a gossiper, go join an independent newspaper or something, and you can gossip all you want. That's your job. Talking about stuff you don't know about. Oh, I hate those people. They talk about stuff they don't know about, but they think they're experts in it. And you know, and I get tired of trying to combat that. I just say, let them talk. Let them talk. Let them go. But some of us, not us in here, know more about other people than you know about yourself. See, I'm 63, but I'm still finding out things about myself. No, it was years before I found out that I was not born on the day my parents told me I was born on. And it was all because I was looking in some calendar that was hanging on the wall of some shop. And my parents said I was born on a Wednesday. And I used to like Wednesdays. That day we went to church. And I looked and I said, that's a calendar from 1961. And I pulled it up. I said, I was born on a Friday. Not. There's things that I'm still discovering by myself. Now, me and my parents didn't fall out over that. I didn't have to go see no counselor or nothing. But there are things we're finding out about ourselves. You need to find about yourself. And if you start dealing with you and the Lord and yourself, then there's too much to be minding somebody else's business. Lead a happy, quiet, healthy life. Paul must reemphasize this point to the text. He says, now I hear that now. I'm not certain, but this is what I hear. I got my ear to the ground here, and I'm listening. But we hear that there are some which walk among you disorderly. He said, now if you want to know what I'm talking about, disorderly, working not at all. Now he ain't talking about, he may be your secular job. But don't you know, I'm going to put it out here, that some members of the church don't work in the church. And I'm going to put this out here. Whoever's told to step on, stay out of the aisle. But when you can't do work I give you, or you volunteer to do because the world is too big, and you must stop doing the work I give you because your work is too much, you got a problem. You got a problem. And like Jesus says that the things that he asks you to do is not hard. It's not cumbersome. It's easy. You see, it's easy. He says, listen, he says, you're working not at all, but you're busybodies. See, you don't always have to have the hedge fence or the white picket fence and you talking to somebody across the yard or and you're talking about everything. So you don't have to have that. He says you're busybodies. You're into everybody's business instead of working for the church. There's too much to do around here, really. Now, we some of us are really working. You see, but guess what? There's always something to do. You see, I told my wife, I said, you know what I did? I came out here and I put the cards in the back. See, not because nobody did it. It's because I came out here for something else and I saw that. I said, I'm going to just go ahead and do it. At least Lee bought them. We can at least put them in the back of the thing. I did that. And then guess what? I didn't write out no bill for them to pay me for my work. And I just did it. And then I went outside and I looked at that sign and I said, that thing is in shambles. I took a picture of it, falling apart. And I said, I'm going to fix the sign. See, I'm the preacher, but I ain't got to call nobody up for that. If I see something need to be done, I'm going to do it. And as I was walking back to my car, I looked over by the hedges where we got the little rock, the long wall there. And I said, look at all the weeds in here, all the weeds and stuff. And I stopped by Home Depot. I had to go by there anyway. I bought some weed killer. I said, I'm going to come out here and spray the weeds. I didn't get on the phone and say, bruh, look here, Stevens. You're supposed to be the custodian around here and all that. You know, property manager. What? I have to call him because it's my church too. But see, what I'm trying to say is there's too much to do around here for people not to do anything at all. At all. We need more teachers. There's nobody teaching the new converts. I keep saying it, but we ain't got no teachers. I can't be two places at one time. Say, well, you teach them. Well, who gonna teach Sunday school? Ain't nobody came up yet. I ain't trying to indict nobody. What I'm saying is there's too much work for you to say there's nothing to do than to be busybodies in other people's business. But we don't do that here. And I'm not being facetious. I'm not being sarcastic. We don't. I just don't want you to. You know, he says, now them that are such we command. He said, the church. Yeah. Busybodies. He said, you know what? Because y'all said, well, brother, we don't know what that is. Here it is. Busybodies. They will not serve before officials of low rank. And guess who was good at that? Daniel. He was skilled in his work because he wasn't worried about other people's business, that he stood before kings, not people of low rank. Think about it. You want to drive, you want to climb to the top of your business? I was a low person on the totem pole. This person got promoted to a sergeant. And I'm going, they don't even have no law enforcement spirit. I got it. And I say, well, at this rate, they're moving so slow. Will I ever be a sergeant? You know, when I say, I climbed all the way to the captain. And the people who were sergeants and all that before me had to answer to me. That was the first captain that was promoted in this company in our region. You see, and I was number 2 person in the whole company, and I'm out there wondering, will I ever reach the top? Will I reach the top? You see, and I didn't answer to low-ranking people. You see, he went to my office. My office was on the 4th floor of the Wells Fargo Bank, sitting there watching everybody else. Yeah, I mind my own business. I did my work well. And then I saw myself promoted. Whatever you do, work at it with all your heart. As working for the Lord, not humans. You ain't working for Brother D. You ain't working for me. You ain't working for James or Brother Stevens. You're not working for none of us. You're working for the Lord. And you know why you say do it with all your heart? Because I tell my wife that. I say, let's not say half step in what we do. We have to do our best. See, I have probably over 1,000 sermons since 1988. They all over the place. I have cassettes, boxes full of cassettes. And there are many, many online. A person say, I saw you online. He says that you got a lot of sermons. You know what? Yes, I do. I say, but every week I try to make new ones. Now I could go back and pull an old one, but I said no, because that's kind of cheating. But I could give you my best. Yeah, sometimes I'm late, staying up late. He didn't get the sermon until late Saturday. Yeah. Because I try to give you my best. You say, well, Woods, you did a good job with what you thought I was going to do. Not being, I got to give you my best. That's what the Lord expects. You don't just throw something out there to the Lord, but let's get it over with. Nuh-uh. I don't want throwing out prayer to get it over with. You know I don't like you coming up here just throwing out communion just to get it over with. Get the Lord your best, because that's what he going to do. Give you best, better than his best. Luke 6:38. Pressed down, shaking together, pouring over. That's what he going to give you. Give him your best. 1 Timothy 5:33 as we come to a close. Besides, they get into that's important. Proverbs 10 through 19 tells us the trouble we could get in when we don't mind our own business. Go back and read it. Tells you about the trouble you can get in when you don't mind your own business. Some people are dead now because they didn't mind their business. 1 Corinthians 15:33, don't be misled. Bad company corrupts good character. Ain't nothing that a bad person gonna do to promote you. Nothing. They gonna just bring you down, because pretty soon you're gonna assimilate to being just like them. Getting into trouble often starts simply by getting involved in someone else's business. That's how the trouble starts. Work with your own hands. What does this mean? Go back one more. What does that mean? Working with your own hands. Well, what does that mean? Work with your own hands. Let me go back. Yeah, work with your own hands. And let me just tell you, part of that means stay out of there trying to get them lottery tickets. You want some money? Go to work. You want more money? Listen, I'm gonna tell you how to get some more money. Get some more job. Yeah, that's what you do. And going out there getting them lottery tickets, I bet not hear no scratching off and all that stuff like that. And then because you talking about you gonna pay the church, you ain't gonna pay the church nothing. I'm gonna be just like the church, like them Pharisees and stuff. When what that man Judah tried to turn it back. That money ain't no good here. We don't want your money. I know I'm not speaking. I might not be speaking for the treasurers. I don't know, but that money ain't no good. That gambling money ain't no good. Yeah, we don't want that. God don't want it. He said, what does this mean, work with your own hands? It means it is a natural consequence of minding your own business. We must tend to the affairs of our own life. Why do we work? Here's one. To keep us out of trouble. God gave work to man as the consequences of his sin. Genesis 3, verse 17 through 19. Cursed is the ground, this is the sum of it, because of you. Cursed is the ground. Through painful toil, you will eat from it all the days of your life. And some of you have worked some hard jobs. You're dirty when you come home. It's hard job. You ain't sitting up there in some office going, oh, it's so nice up in here. In the cool air. You know, can we turn the TV on while we work? Listen to some music. Oh, it's time to go to the canteen again. Or go walk outside with a little coffee in my hand, like Some people I used to do, I ain't gonna name them. I'm like out there working. I'm out there drinking coffee. What you talking to me? What? Go to work. Yeah. Curses the ground because of you. It was as much to keep man away from sin as it was to punish him. And when we are busy working with our own hands, Brother James, guess what? We don't have much time to get in trouble when you're working. You know, you don't have much time when you're working. My daughter, I hired my daughter before I left work. I hired her and got Brother Milton working out there and some other people. I think Schroeder too. Yeah, I hired them and stuff. And guess what? The one thing I used to tell them, and they knew better, my employees have said, look, don't let me come around here and find you on the phone. Because that's not your job. See, when you're on the phone, you're running your mouth, you're not doing your job. You see, if you're doing your job, you don't have time to get in trouble. You're doing what I ask you to do. When I come out there and I see you, you're doing what I'm asking you to do. You don't have time to get in trouble when you're doing your job. To provide for your own, he says, that's what it is. See, one thing is, and I'm going to tell you this, you work to keep yourself out of trouble. You work to provide for your own. But if any provide not for his own, especially for those of his own house, he has denied the faith, and he's worse than an infidel. If your wife going to work and you ain't working, now if you retired and you through working, but I'm talking about those who send their wife to work, and you sitting around there watching TV all day, lifting weights in the garage, and all that other kind of foolishness, you worse than an infidel. She coming home tired, and then you want to, instead of rubbing her feet and got her food ready, you ask her for the keys to the car so you can go on out. You worse than an infidel. I ain't going to say that nothing about a woman who don't work. The Bible says she should be at home taking care of the house. Now, I know some of y'all going, now you feminists out there, my number is this. No. But he didn't say so. The man should be out there working. Or we got men that don't work. That's another subject. I ain't getting into that. But he says you're worse than the infidel. But guess what? He says you're worse than the infidel. We also, listen, and the third reason why you need to work is this. We also need to have to give to others, Ephesians 4:28. Anyone who has been stealing, you need to steal no longer, but must work, doing something useful with their own hands. Guess what? When you work, that they may have something to share with those in need. Listen, if you've been working on your job 10, 20, 30 years, you should never have to say to God when you see them, I never had nothing to give someone who asked me for $1. Because you're working not just to protect, to provide for your family. You see, you're not just working for them. You're not just working to keep you out of trouble. You're working so you can have something to give to someone who doesn't have. Everybody doesn't have the ability or skills to work. Even Jesus says, you're going to always have who among you? The poor. No, the poor. I love that story when I saw Nora O'Donnell, but the 9-year-old boy who thought the man was homeless, he gave him his only $1 he had. 9 years old, he said, because I always wanted to have the opportunity to give to somebody who was homeless. The man wasn't homeless, but he was 9 years old. And you working all your life, and you tell me you can't donate to some charity or give something to somebody, you need to be ashamed of yourself. Paul speaks of these purposes. Acts 2:20. You weren't supposed to come up yet. Y'all in my way. 2:20. Paul speaks to these purposes. You yourselves know that these hands of mine, that's what Paul's saying. I'm an apostle, but I worked. These hands of mine have supplied my own needs and the needs of my companions because I shared. In everything I did, I showed you that by this kind of hard work, we must help the weak. Remember the words of the Lord Jesus himself. It is more blessed to give than to receive. You know, I like this one because he said he laid up. I ain't talking about somebody who won't work and they out there taking your money. You know, talking about a little help. Little help. I'm going to leave that one alone too. Yeah, a little help. Let me keep my little then. Go out there and get a job. You say you'll work for food. You'll work. Well, how come every week you're still in the same place? There's jobs out there say, help wanted. But that's not the job you want. All right, folks. There's a plan of salvation. You want to mind your own business? Mind this one here. But through this plan, now Jesus has repentance, throwing away everything. Not like the rich young man who had everything and he went away sorrowful because he didn't want to give up none of it. You wanted to give up some stuff. All of it. Coming to Christ, you need to confess that Christ is your Lord. See, if you're not following after Christ, another person is your Lord. But you need to confess that the Lord, he's my Lord. He's the risen Savior, and I want to serve him. So I am going to dedicate myself to him. And then you seal it with being baptized, as Jesus was in the heart of the earth for 3 days, and he came out anew. He didn't want nobody to touch him. You come out of there, you come up out of there anew. You're talking about, how I wish I could live my life again. Don't live your life again. It was a sorry one. Live a new life and start all over again.